Well, Nigeria 2015 here on China's television. We are still looking at the elections that will be taking place in 29 states in Nigeria. Well, we have been looking at preparedness also for this particular election. How well have they been going on with this particular one in all geopolitical zones that this particular election will be holding? Don't forget that we have also been looking at a couple of other issues that have to do with those flashpoints, 8 of them in all, that the NHRC, that is the National Human Rights Commission, has asked the nation to beam its searchlight on, and why so? And but the Commissioner of Police in different states, they have been speaking, telling us exactly what is happening, saying that they are ready, and if you are a troublemaker, you better look elsewhere. Where now is what we really don't know. But for Yobe State, the electoral officer, one of the electoral officers in that state, says all officials and electoral materials are ready, and they have started deployment of same to their polling units in the state. Well, on his part, the police boss, Marcus Danladi, well, has charged all electorate to be law-abiding. As a result, some of the electoral do's and don'ts.
We are fully prepared for Saturday's election. The materials were sorted out yesterday. They came in from Central Bank on Tuesday. Then yesterday we sorted out everything. Now the EOs are moving them to different LGAs from where they are going to distribute them to the RAS. Later, tomorrow, and by Saturday morning, 5 a.m., they are going to the polling units.
Dangerous items such as machetes.
Well, that's not the only place where we have such preparations going on. We also have same in Jos, that's the capital of Plateau State. The level of voter awareness in that particular city seems high. A resident of Jos who spoke to us, well, tells us that for the April polls, they're all set, and the deciding factor is on the economic well-being.
The election that is coming up on Saturday, to my mind, is more crucial than the presidential, because this one relates more to the grassroots. More people relate more with the state governors and the House of Assembly members than relate with the federal. So I think the awareness is quite high, and we are quite expectant that the election will come up well.
Well, expectations high, and everyone has been talking. With it, we'll be looking at state-by-state analysis of preparations for this particular election, which is less than 24 hours from today. That is tomorrow. And our panelists are still very much around. We still have Captain Omar Ali, who is a security experts with us here, and Barrister Malaki Ugumadu, a legal practitioner. No, we're not being joined by Dr. Abiola Akyode Folabi. Thank you so very much for joining us. And we have been following closely all of this. And for you, what does this mean to you? Because you're the coordinator here in Lagos of the Transition Monitoring Group. Now, the election is upon us, just some hours to the big day.
Well, I believe that the election tomorrow is very important. It's very critical to all of us as Nigerians. One, because we are also looking at the state government and also looking at the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly is very important, particularly at the state level, because that's where the policy of each state will be generated. So it's very important for Nigerians to participate more than ever before. Last 2 weeks we had some itches here and there, but I believe that tomorrow should be better, so people should come out en masse to participate in the election, ensure that they also stand by to ensure that they protect the mandate of that election.
Do you think enthusiasm has been dwindling?
Well, yes, for a while, but I think in the last 1 week there has been a lot of interest, and people are also talking more than ever before. There are some states, particularly in the southwest, like Oyo State, Lagos State, Ogun State. I think there's been a lot of talk about what's going to happen on Saturday. And of course, because the political parties, they have also gone back campaigning. So in a way, they have brought back the discussion on the table. So people are already asking questions. People are looking at what's to be expected in the from them. And of course, we also had a lot of interesting things happening in the last 1 week. 8 speeches here and there, and threat of violence here and there. So by and large, people are warming up, I believe, for tomorrow's election.
Well, the fever is up on us for this particular election. Captain Aliu, what else can we, get from all of this feverish pitch that this has given to us in different states? Some are saying that a couple of messages sent in by our viewers. How come these are just the 8 states? Some are even saying, don't you think my state is also a flashpoint, A, B, and C? So why do you think that this is so heightened? Is it because we're getting very close to the D-Day?
Yes, part of it is because we're getting close to the D-Day. And another one is because from the security practitioners' side of the table, I will tell you that we human beings are creatures of habit. The 8 states were not labeled 8 states this morning. Events led to that. And in a family of 36 siblings, they were seen to be the most challenged when it came to peaceful electoral transition. And so they were labeled as special states. They will be needing probably a little more attention than the rest. But basically, it shouldn't call for alarm. There is a benchmark which has been set for security across the nation. One of such benchmarks is no movement from a certain period of the day to a certain period. The benchmark is there for all the states, but those ones that have had special situations may be getting a little more attention than others, but doesn't mean there is no security in the other ones.
Let's look at the effect of peace treaties.
Peace accords.
Peace accords, for a long time, a lot of people felt, well, that's just human beings, signing something. It's a sheet of paper. It's not binding. But we saw that spirit come to play immediately after the presidential elections. Both parties, both candidates, especially the incumbent candidate, the presidential candidate, lived by his words. And that had a great effect on, the results that were announced in the aftermath of what happened thereof. Can we expect same from the states, especially those that have signed? Majority of them have signed peace accords.
Yes, peace accords, Peace accords were important, but now that we are coming lower down, we have to do one more thing. At that level, when the president and the president-elect signed a peace accord, it was virtually seen as a thing that is meant for them there at the top. We are going down to the grassroots. So we'll have to actually walk the talk. Walking the talk is ensuring that the same manner that peace accord was carried at the presidential elections level and the National Assembly level is decomposed and brought down to the state and the local government levels. The peace accord was not mainly an elite or a presidential level thing. It was meant to span the entire period of the elections.
Now, how optimistic are you, Barrister Gumadu, that this will work at the local level? We've seen 27 states at the last count signing peace accords, maybe only 2 that these peace accords didn't happen. Do you think that it will have the same effect?
I'm going to look at it from 2 angles. One as a lawyer and the other one as a political analyst. I've had a series of opportunities where I said that from the standpoint of the law, it was almost of no moment. The one is that it has no legal effect. It could not and cannot be enforced. Secondly, is that the persons who are appending their signatures to those peace accord or treaties cannot be held vicariously liable for the criminal offenses of the party members on whose behalf they are signing those things. So, again, and this worried a couple of persons, including those who had cause to show their resentment, is that haven't we had enough in our criminal legislations, criminal law books, to deal with the content of this peace accord. Well, that is on the one hand, and speaking legally, stricto sensu.
Very quickly, let's have the second one.
Now, on the second angle is that, look, whereas you have found it convenient to discountenance what it was from the legal angle, indeed, it played out as though it was a saving grace. But I must emphasize that the actors, the influence and role of the actors was also by far more important than even the peace accord. If it wasn't a Jonathan, given his nature and personage, you probably would not be remembering that peace accord at the time when he spent 35 minutes trying to accredit himself and haven't heard that Buhari did that in less than 1 minute. The statements made thereafter clearly was a reflection of the accord they signed. Again, if you didn't have a president who probably out of tune with the generality of his party members as at the time he conceded, don't forget, Mr. Rubabi, like I said, was hitting his head on the wall. About the same time, in retrospect, you could know that the president was already composing his acceptance speech. And so the persons who were involved were by far more important than the documents they were.
Well, very quickly, let's bring in Ambassador Abdullahi Omaki. He's the Executive Director of Savannah Institute for Diplomacy, Democracy and Development, and also Nigeria's former ambassador to Chad. I hope you can hear us. Good to have you join us this afternoon. Very quickly, tell us this preparation for the state elections. What do you think we should be putting on the table as we get closer to the D-Day?
So,
well, Ambassador Omaki, if you can hear me.
I've heard your question.
Well, it would seem that you didn't get the question. Tomorrow is almost upon us, and we're asking what you think as Nigerians and electorates we should be looking towards on the day. Well, it would seem that, well, you know, sometimes you really have it. Well, another bad moment today while trying to connect with Ambassador Omaki. He's the Executive Director, Savannah, well, Institute of Democracy and Diplomacy. Well, he's also a former ambassador to Chad. We do hope that we should be able to get across to him in a moment there. But a quick reminder here, it's Nigeria 2015. The hashtag Nigeria 2015 here on Channels Television. You also can be part of it by, well, reaching us on the Twitter handles on your screen there. Let us in on what exactly is happening. Messages already coming in, and pretty much later we should be talking with our correspondents from across the states that will be having elections. 29 of them in 36 states of the country, and of course a couple of other places, and even the FCT that won't be having any elections will also like to have a feel of what it is like for a city while not going to the polls tomorrow. But, well, it will take a moment very shortly, and we'll come back and look at more of this. Don't forget that videos are accepted, just 15 seconds at the most of such videos, and your selfies, bring them on, and you'll be on this. And for our UK viewers, welcome to our world, as we are now live on Sky, streaming live there on channel 575. And there's channels 24 right there. And these are some of the messages and pictures being sent to us. Specifically, this one is coming in from the UK, from our UK viewers. We do hope that a couple of them will be shown here on our frequency. And a reminder here that we also have an email for you to send in comments and visuals and images as well as videos. It's Nigeria2015@channelstv.com. Let us in on what exactly you're having. And we will be speaking with the Inspector General of Police and the Commissioner of Police in these states of the Federation on preparations towards this big moment. And the states that we'll be looking at for the big day, 10 of them have incumbents that will be going back to the elections. How well have they managed to get to this particular spot, and how the electorates will definitely be voting tomorrow? These are some of the discussions we'll be looking at here on Nigeria 2015. In a moment, we'll return.